Okay.
So welcome everybody. We're just waiting to see who joins us. I'm sure some more people will too. If you can see me on the camera, I'm drinking out of the mug my daughter made for me for Mother's Day. It's so
Aw,
cute. I'm drinking out of this today.
nice.
She couldn't wait until Sunday.
Aw, she's all proud. That's cool.
She's so proud. So yeah, we'll get our call started off and we'll see who would like to share with us this week and see what they're going through. I was having a total breakdown today. That's what I was sharing with Shannon. And I had such an epiphany moment when I was walking to the store. I was like, I'm having a breakdown with the process that underlies. Shannon, I'm just gonna mute you because I can hear a
Oh,
lot of
so
stuff. That's okay. Um, I was having a breakdown around my processes that I use behind the scenes with this business. And so I went for a walk and I was being really hard on myself too. I was like, God, like, why do I have food addictions? Why does it suck so bad? Why is it so much effort for me to overcome these? And then I stopped and reframed it and I was like, wait a second. Normally when I'm stressed at work, I would eat a chocolate bar or eat chips or healthy snacks too, but in excess when I wasn't hungry. And what I realized was instead of doing that, I went for a 20-minute walk to the store and bought vitamin water. So like, how bad really is it if instead of binging on food to deal with stress, I'm actually taking a walk in nature, burning calories, and picking up something I'm definitely not addicted to, vitamin water, to drink. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm actually doing pretty good at this thing. I'm not engaging in my food addictions. I'm not engaging in emotional eating. It sucks that that's a battle for me, but I'm winning it. So that was my win for today. It was to reframe my success around that. So who else would like to share with us what their wins are this week? I'm just gonna grab some more cold water.
I would.
Yes, please.
Okay, good. I was almost late getting on because I decided today to do a change parade and try everything on in my closet. So, yeah.
How did it go?
So really good. I hadn't been trying anything on, I guess, in the last 3 weeks. I guess I was just waiting. So I would say 95% of my clothes that were in the closet fit or were too big. And
Nice.
I would say probably the other 5% maybe would fit if I preferred to wear my clothes tight, which I don't. So, okay, some people would say, yeah, that fits. I'm saying it doesn't fit.
Not quite yet.
So, not quite yet. So I do still have a bin in the garage of other clothes. So that hasn't yet come in, but I figured this was a good start to kind of go through everything. And so, yeah, so I was pretty pumped about that.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. 95% of your stuff fits. That's unreal.
Yeah, well, it was some of my bigger stuff, so I do have some of the smaller stuff still sitting in there. Oh, and I did try on my tuxedo, which fit, so that was good. So
wow.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
I wore it, I guess the last time would been maybe 2014. So.
Wow, nice. Okay, so 3 years ago.
So I have some dress pants that I can get on, but I still find they're tight. So it's getting close on those too. So I was pretty happy about it.
Wow. And I think you hit the 26 mark, right? 26 pounds? That's phenomenal. So what day is today? Is this day 2 of washout?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so exciting things in the future. You're going to get to open up your selection and variety of foods more pretty soon.
Yeah, pretty soon, yeah. So that's pretty good.
That's so awesome. I'm so happy, Sandra. That's so great.
Yeah, I've still got a ways to go, but I'm pumped that I've actually made progress. So a step in the right direction.
And that's just the thing, is it's definitely not overnight, but it's important to celebrate these milestones along the way and really glue in that feeling of success and then propel yourself towards the next level. So the fact that you did that and tried everything on, like, really keep that feeling in your bones and know that that's what's just keeping coming for you at each stage and each phase. So that's so awesome. Very cool.
That was my share today.
Yeah, that's a great share. That's a great win. So thanks so much for sharing that with us. Who else would like to share with us today what they're dealing with, what they're going through, challenged with, have an opportunity with, have a win?
Yes, I did a steak day yesterday, unplanned, but it worked out. So went down 1.5. So that's.
I know, I saw that. That's awesome.
So I was happy with that because I know, like, I sort of don't seem to lose a lot when I'm on phase 2 steak day, but when I'm on maintenance of doing steak day, I've lost up to like over 3 pounds. So it's sort of interesting. I don't know if it's just the way it works out or whether it's actually a thing for me, you know, not to lose as much on a steak day on phase 2. But either way, it broke my mini plateau, which I might have broke anyway. Like, that's the other thing. It's like, you don't know, you know, it might have just broke, or did I just help with some inflammation or whatever was going on. But so now it's sort of, I got these multi goals, and it's like 149 will put me into the normal weight category. So if I'm I'm 4 pounds away from that, so that's kind of that's exciting. But then I also want to create a buffer so that I, you know, and not that I think I'll go down to 130, but I'm thinking 145 is my second goal, which is that's and was that 8 pounds away? I don't know. I have to get my calculator out after like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, but yeah, so it's and really, you know, like we were talking this morning, just really finding that place is like, you know what, if I was to stay at this weight that I am right now for the rest of my life, I'd be totally thrilled, you know? So it's like, I've reached my goal on those senses, but then now it's just these little fine-tuning things that I want to do, which I have to keep that in perspective, that, you know, I'm where I want to be now. And those goals are not bigger than that. They're smaller, and it doesn't change, you know? So that makes it kind of exciting, because if I start like, okay, I've surpassed my 160 goal, but now I'm not 145. And if I make that bigger, it starts to become all too consuming, right? So it's just sort of changing my perception of it. So no, I've hit my goal. I'm where I want to be, actually beyond, right? Because I would have killed for 170. I would have chewed my right arm off for 160. And here I am at 153. So like, holy crap, right? So that's, that to me is like, okay, I've just blown this out of the water. And now it's just keeping those little goals what they are, little, you know, it's not going to change my perception or feel like a failure just because maybe I won't hit 145. Like, who cares, you know? But that it's a mini goal. So I think it's really keeping those in perspective. And also, I bought a small t-shirt, size small t-shirt. I needed a white t-shirt for my yoga class, and it was like, I was looking for medium, couldn't find medium anywhere. I'm like, why can't I find medium anywhere now? Where before it was like mediums were everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, fat chance I'm getting in that. But now I can't find a medium. But anyway, there was a small white t-shirt, and I bought it. I don't like trying clothes on. I just want to buy and go home and then try it on at home. So I'm not a real good clothes shopper in that sense. But anyway, I brought it home, and I was like, oh, crossing my fingers. Anyway, it's a little big.
A
So
small is a little big?
it was a little big, like it,
No way.
the bust, it fit me perfect, but everywhere else it was hanging loose. So I was like, holy crap, like really extra small? This is like crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm like, this is a medium, you know, and it's like way too big, my sweaters and all my clothes. So it's like, oh yeah, it's just like this unbelievable, I don't even remember buying that size. Even when I was, you know, in the 150s, I remember being a medium. So I don't know, maybe the stores have changed all their sizing on us in the last little while, because I was never a small or extra small. So that's my little win for the week. And my dog's on the floor dreaming and she's running. I just see these legs going. Anyway, yeah, so that's really exciting, and just it's just fun going out now. Even just going, I woke up yesterday morning and I had to take Romy to an appointment, and I was like, oh, this will be fun, you know, looking for something to put on and doing my hair, you know. And it was like, okay, this is weird. I never, going out somewhere was a chore. Now it's actually kind of fun, you know, and it's to go out and you just feel good, and everything you do just feels good. It's like this whole different perception on life. And I was saying, Sherry came over yesterday, and we were hanging out here talking, and she was talking about the changes in her, which were really exciting to hear, because I felt them too, and now I see her witnessing these changes. And I would say, you know, it's interesting, because if I had gone on vacation in the past, when I go on vacation, I'm a real people watcher, and I would love to sit at the pool and I would watch other people to the point that I would be intimately involved in their lives without them knowing it, you know, and I would create these stories around them. But you know what? I noticed after the fact that this past trip to Mexico, I did not people watch at all. Like it was kind of weird. Like I don't remember any people. I never tuned in, you know, saw the same people every day other than my yoga instructor, Daniel. But anyway, but he, you know, it's like, was I people watching because I wasn't living? I was watching other people live their lives, where this trip around and now this, you know, the way I am when I go out now, I don't see that I'm people watching anymore, or like, oh, look at how beautiful her body is. I wonder what she does to stay like that. And why can't I have that? Or, you know, like that kind of people watching, and not judgment people watching, but just looking at what other people have, I guess, in their lives or what they have going on. And now I don't do that at all anymore. I'm totally, you know, maybe it's self-centeredness a bit, but maybe not. It's just totally involved in my life and what I'm doing and living it. And so that's been a huge shift too. So, and I recognized that yesterday when we were sort of chatting about these things, that you're out there, you know, the one playing volleyball and jumping around like a crazy woman, you know, where before you would have been sitting back wishing you were that person. So that's something that's come up for me, and it's exciting. It's a lot of fun, just going out and having fun and living. So that's my share.
That is amazing. You're really on the court now. You're on the court of life. So it sounds like before you were in the stadium watching the players, and now you are a player.
Yeah, I'm a player.
That kind of doesn't sound right. You're a player.
I'm a player. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. So I talk a lot about how I did one of the self-development courses with Landmark Education. It was really cool. But one of their sections of the course, they talk about how much of your life are you on the court and how much of your life are you in the stands being an observer. And it's really common that most of us are in the stands being an observer, because it's easier to look out at other people. Not that you did this, but it's easier for me, for instance, to look out and judge other people or criticize than actually go do the things myself and feel the fear and the challenge and the courage of it. But you're not really living life until you're on the court of it. So it's a really fascinating transition to make, and you've like opened my eyes to it again, Shan, because I keep seeing these examples of people when and it's not just with weight loss, it could be with other things, but in our particular lens, we see when people take off weight, it's like a new life becomes available to you for a myriad of reasons. Maybe, you know, you couldn't garden or play basketball before because your joints hurt from the extra weight, and now you can. It's like there's all kinds of stuff that gets peeled off, and suddenly you're on the court of life. And it's so interesting because life occurs differently when you're on the court. You don't have time for stuff that doesn't matter, or for like looking at other people, or even for judging yourself too much, because you're just doing the thing, you know? It's really, really cool. And how does that feel to you to be like more present in the moment?
It feels alien because, you know, it's been a lot of years that I have been sort of sitting on the sidelines and watching. So, but so it's alien. It's fun. Like I'm feeling like I have fun inside, you know, like my kids are, you know, 40 minutes away is a roller rink that my kids now want to go to all the time. And I'm thinking, no, now I got to drive them, you know, all over the place. But it was like, you know what, now it's like, you know what, maybe I'll go roller skating with them. I haven't been roller skating since high school, you know, and where before that would have been like, absolutely not. Right. But there's excitement, and you wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, you know, what can I get into today, or what can I do? So I guess excitement's the word, you know, it's just this different, where, you know, before it was like ho hum, you know, what, looking at, instead of participating, it was always about how can I avoid, or excuses, or, you know, a lot of, you know, avoidance, hiding, you know, oh, I don't want to have to go out, oh, I got to go out. Everything was just so heavy, you know, where now it's like that's gone. It just feels really, I feel light, not just in weight, but emotionally light, you know, mentally light. Everything's lighter and flowier, I guess. I don't know if that answered your question, but blah, blah, blah.
It does. It sounds like you're in a space of self-expression and just getting to be you, and really getting to be at a higher vibration of existence. I really like that. Another thing that, just to unpack what you said at the beginning of your share, you were talking about how like you've already hit your goal and then some, and now it's like you're pinpointing little areas to, I don't know how to word that, like to get better at, to perfect at, to see what else is possible. And I like what you said about, you know, not being so attached to the number that it causes you any kinds of negative emotions. You're kind of free flowing. You're like, I already achieved what I want. Now what else is possible? That's the best way. The distinction there is attachment versus commitment. And Lisa, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here. So attachment is like being so emotionally attached to things being a certain way, whereas commitment is you're committed to the overall result of your health and committed to yourself having that higher vibration life, whatever that means to you. And this is an important distinction for all of us. And it's something that I battle with all of the time. So right now I'm doing a phase where I cut out carbs. I'm in ketosis, and I'm trimming out the fat that I gained along with the muscle from working out. So I'm going to do that. How do I word this? Where I'm overly attached to results. But I want to link this back to something I just read, which was really cool. I read this article by a guy who's talking about mastery, and I'll link it all back in the end so it makes sense. But he's talking about how, say he or she, I think it was a girl who wrote it, was a dancer, and they were a ballerina. So they did ballet for their whole life, and they noted how when you're just doing it for the fun and the enjoyment of it, it has like more flow. And more of an experience. But when she got to professional ballet school in her late teens, early 20s, as an expert, you become a lot more harder on yourself because you're dealing with mastery and perfection. And this really became interesting to me because I am seeking to be a master of the human body and human physiology. So she's saying that, you know, the way that ballet looks, it looks so flawless, so beautiful, so perfect. And to an intermediate person, they feel like, oh my God, I'm doing this so well, I'm performing so well. But the expert almost doesn't really celebrate either which way, because they're in it for something else. They're in it for mastery, almost like a kung fu master would be. There's no real celebration. They're like, this is what I've dedicated my life to. So the expert, when they perform ballet, they can pick up how their foot should be like half a centimeter in a different position, whereas the intermediate person couldn't do that. The expert picks up the tiniest of nuances in the pursuit of perfection, while also acknowledging that the human body can never be perfect. Like, you'll never pull off the perfect ballet as an expert. And this brings up Black Swan for me, which we've talked about on here. The pursuit of perfectionism can be deadly. But so the true master in ballet gets that. They get that there's actually no perfection to arrive at, but that's the striving for that's present in mastery. And now I see that, and I think that you might be, I introduce all this because you might be in that space, Shannon. I'm not sure. See if it resonates with you. But as you get closer and closer to your health being exactly where you want it to be, these 5 pounds have the breadth of like 30 pounds, because you're starting to look at things with a magnifying glass, and you're starting to see like the little areas that could be tinkered. Again, not out of perfection, but out of like mastery and what's possible. For us, I think what gets us going is how do we play with human physiology and biochemistry. And Shannon and I are what you would call biohackers. So we like to play with variables to make our bodies look and express their genetics in a certain way. And I'm not saying everyone has to do that. In fact, most people probably shouldn't do that. That's just what I'm obsessed with. And that's why I run this as a business and as an expert and as a master of this. So I think, Shannon, you might be stepping into that territory. And the best, what you said was perfect, because the best way to approach it is not being attached, being committed. Because even the master gets that, you know, perfection and attachment just don't serve us. It'll always come up. Like even today, it was like I said at the start of the call, it came up for me. Like, why the hell is my weight not going out faster? My body fat percent not going out faster? I want to emotionally eat. But then to reframe it and be like, well, look how much I am accomplishing. Look how much I have done. So I love where you're at, and I want to send you that article. Maybe I'll post it to the group, because it applies to everybody in whatever your field of mastery is, because we all have something that we're obsessed with and dedicated to on some level. So I'm going to post that for you guys, because I thought it was just, the overall message was there's no such thing as flow in mastery, because the master never flows. They're constantly analyzing themselves to see what's missing, not in a bad way, but what's missing that would make a real difference. And again, Lisa, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say in Landmark, we always look at like Michael Jordan. He watched replays of his game after every single game, not for what was wrong, because he was one of the world's best basketball players, but for what was missing, the presence of which would have made a real difference in his game being even better. And that's a master. So yeah, I'm going to share that with you. Their article is all about there's no flow in mastery. It's like real dedication, and I really liked it. So I'll share that with you guys, and hopefully it'll give something to you as well. But just to conclude, that I think, Shannon, that's where you're heading, and it's if you like it, it's a really cool space to be in.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. You know, and I love biohacking to death. It's like, it's a hobby, and it's always like, okay, what can I tweak here? What can I do this and that? And so that's, you know, and we like being our own experiments. I know that about both of us. So we do all kinds of things. And I think it's great. I like it. It's fun. I could see where that might not be for everybody. But yeah, it's like looking at, like you said, it's like that magnifying glass of coming in. It's like, oh my God, I got four pounds, you know, and that 4 pounds is this big. But then I have to go, wait a minute, like 4 pounds. That's a bowel movement, you know, and you know, big deal. Look I've lost 66 pounds as of this morning, and it's like looking back at that and just going, holy crap, you know, like that's amazing. And then you know, and then it just puts everything into its proper perspective, I think. But yeah, definitely moving into, okay, target areas, you know, like the belly. Like I still have a above my belly button, I still have a roll, and I still have a roll below. And that might never go away, but I'm in a place now, it's like, it doesn't affect the way I look when I go out. It doesn't affect my intimacy with my partner. Like, he was 66 pounds. It didn't affect him. It affected me. But, you know, it's like, where am I now? You know, and it's just, you know, playing with those little things, you know, like once I'm off protocol, I'll go back to the wrap, see if that does any skin toning. But I also noticed in my top of my thighs, was it this morning or yesterday morning? Because I have this, you know, that little bit of skin saggy right at the inside thighs at the top. And I noticed that that's even improved. I'm like, wow, I haven't even put the It Wraps there. So you know what? It's a process. It takes time. And like I said last week, you know, we're all weight loss snobs now, but we have to remember how fast we're dropping this weight, and just really put things into perspective. And yeah, anyway, I'm kind of going all over the place now, so I'll be quiet. So.
No, I love it. No, and perspective is everything, because I've been like so tough on myself, and then when I look at perspective, you reframe it to see what you've really accomplished, and it's huge. And I just want to say, I just saw Jennifer B. I just posted the article I see you out to the Facebook group, and I just saw Jennifer B's before and after photos, and holy crap, she looks amazing. Did you see those? Yeah, check those out. Those are mind blowing. Some awesome stuff coming up on today's call. So who else would like to share with us where they're at? And it doesn't have to be like glorious either. You can share with us the nitty gritty and the dirty and the downright ugly if you want. Might as well get it out. The Chinese medicine, they always say it's better out than in. Who else wants to tell us what's up? Or is there anything else I can share with you? I don't know. What else can I share with you?
Lorraine wants to talk. I can see it in her eyes.
Are you getting voluntold, Lorraine?
How's it going for me? I'm in my 3rd week maintenance. Scared a little bit. I'm very nervous about trying foods again. So this coming Saturday, we'll be celebrating a birthday and Mother's Day as well. So we're all going out for supper, which will be my first time really eating out. I had chicken the other night. We went out one place, but I mean, it was chicken, right? So chicken and salad. So now I'm thinking I'm going to try some carbs. And I'm really nervous. I'm in ketosis right now, which I'm loving. Shannon knows this from before because I did keto with her a while back. And after about a month of keto, I started to not feel so good. And I think that had a lot to do with stuff that's wrong with me, right? The hormones and all of that, years of toxins in my body, all of that. And I wasn't losing like I wanted to. And I started to feel nervous about all of it. I actually am really looking forward to doing HCG again and losing the rest of the weight and hopefully clearing out the rest of the toxins out of my body and being normal again. If that makes sense. I love
that. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm looking something up for you that, here we go. That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, no, where you're at is absolutely normal, Lorraine. It's so normal to feel scared at that stage. Know that you can always come back to this place too. Like if you're like, oh, I'm gaining more than 2 pounds or stuff feels weird. You can always come back to what you're doing today, which is like any kind of animal protein, any kind of healthy fat, fruits, vegetables, that sort of place. What I want to say too is Dr. Talia and I have been doing a lot of research on leptin and how it's affected by ketosis. So what studies are actually showing for weight loss anyhow, ketosis is great for so many things. For weight loss, if you stay on steady keto for like every day, you actually start to make your leptin insensitive again, which is not a problem. But if you want to keep losing weight or maintain your weight, that's not going to help your goal. So what you need to do in that case is actually do once or twice a week what's called a carb refeed. So you break keto 1 or 2 days per week. It could get more complicated than that. Some people do like 1 day on this week, 2 days the next, then 1 and then 2. That's the ideal, but I find that a little complicated. But anyway, on that day, you would eat ideally healthy carbs as much as you want to, your level of fullness. You don't want to eat when you're not hungry or when you're overly full. But that carb refeed actually resets your leptin. You'll keep losing weight, but you can be keto the rest of the week, which feels really good for your brain, your heart, like many of your organ systems. But this way you won't get the leptin blunt effect that constant keto creates. So that might be something you could try out going forward, is like 1 day a week, have a few sweet potatoes, a bunch of squash, maybe paleo pancakes, like grain-free baked goods, that sort of thing. Just to get your leptin in a sensitive place so that you keep losing weight.
Right.
Is that something you'd be open to trying?
Oh yeah, and I've read some about that. I'm open to that for sure. I noticed since I've been on maintenance, I dropped about 2 more pounds, but I'm now kind of I'm up about a pound from there. And I just keep floating between like I stay around 158-ish now, and I got as low as 157. So I'm holding pretty much, I think. But what happens? I know we're just talking about adding those carbs again, and maybe that'll help. But it's scary, right? I know carbs were quite a bit of my enemy, so it's about eating the right carbs for sure. I made sweet potatoes for my husband and daughter the other day, and I didn't get to eat any, and I was thinking those would be good.
Do you find you battle with food addictions like the way that I do? Like, do you get that in your life? Things that you're addicted to?
Well, typically, yes, but I haven't had any real cravings for sugar, like not really at all. People around me will eat, chips and crappy carbs that I know aren't any good, although I know they're tasty. But I don't have an urge to eat them at all.
Okay,
maybe that's why I'm nervous too to try some. Like, what if I do get that addiction back, Yeah,
and so it takes 6 weeks to break an addiction. You have to physiologically remove it for 6 weeks. So that's the space you're in now, which is perfect. I just bought on my new, I was asking if I should get Kindle or Kobo yesterday, and Sophia in the group actually had a Kobo. It was brand new in a box. She dropped it off last night, so for free, which is awesome. I just downloaded the book called Food Junkies, which is about food addiction, and their stance is don't eat any carbs that are made out of flour or any sugar, because that will reawaken addiction. And they're like a never. They're like, never do that. So stuff that's made out of flour or has white sugar can re-trigger a lot of addiction. So that might be carbs to avoid for you. I know for me, I was thinking,
is that any type of flour? Like even
that's what I'm seeing so far, but I'm kind of hoping I'm only in the first chapter. So I'm kind of hoping as I get deeper that like almond flour would be okay, or coconut flour, because I like that stuff. But I can see now the effect. Like I'm on a low carb regimen right now to trim up, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to eat a gluten-free, paleo cupcake from Kelly's Bake Shop. And now I'm like, oh my God, maybe it's just going to reawaken this addiction in me. Like maybe I should make that more rare. The nurse that I worked with before, Oriel, she was like, you can have your food addictions like once a week without reawakening the beast, and maybe have a steak day the next day to kind of clear it out of your system. But I think it's really individualized. Like if if it reawakens the beast in you, I would say break it with a steak day for sure the next day, and probably don't go back to it for at least 6 months, and then go from there. with the possibility that it could get out of hand really fast. Like, I often tell the story of how after I did my first round, I had a s'more at our fire, and then I ended up having 11 more. So I had 12 s'mores, which I never would have been able to fit in my stomach ever in my life before. But it's just I hadn't had sugar for 9 weeks, probably more at that point, and it was like, oh my God, I just couldn't stop. The beast reawoke. So that's why I put this emotional eating aspect into the course. So that's something that I would say play around with, Lorraine. Like, you'll feel fearful. I think that's natural, and you might fall off the wagon, but you can correct it right away with a steak day the next day, and that will break the mental hold that the food has on you too. And then just keep it in mind to stay away from it at that point, at least for, I would say, 6 months. I think you won't have any problems with, like, for sure you won't have problems with like sweet potatoes, vegetables, squash, nuts and seeds, nut butters, that sort of whole food based stuff. But there might be more a problem with the flour. See, I wonder about almond flour, because technically it's whole almonds. I don't feel like that would evoke an addiction, but I'm not sure. I will experiment with this. Yeah, so
I'm going to experiment with it too. I loved baking with almond flour, so we'll see.
Yeah, because it hasn't been stripped in any way, right? Like, it's just literally ground up almonds. So it's usually when a food's been stripped of its micronutrients, that it behaves like an addictive substance. So I don't think almond flour would do that. It's so dense too that I find it really fills you up, and it does trigger a lot of leptin because of the fat in the almond and the protein. I don't think it would do an addiction response. But let's test it and see. Go from there.
Next week.
Yes. And yeah, let us know how the restaurant goes then.
Yeah, I will. I'm undecided. I might try some carbs. We'll see.
Yeah, see what you feel like, see what your body feels like eating. I forget what I was telling. I think I was telling this to Robin Lynn. It's really good if at all of your meals you can incorporate all the 5 flavors. So if at your meal you get some kind of sweets, whether it's a dried fruit or a fresh fruit, honey or maple syrup, kind of in the salad dressing or whatever. If you can get umami, which is that sort of spicier, more flavorful taste, so some kind of spice, even if it's mild. A bitter, so bitter would be like your bitter greens like kale, bok choy, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, those types of things are all bitters. A sour being an acid, so either lemon, lime juice, or some type of vinegar in the meal. Am I missing one? Salty, so we can get some sea salt on there, or a sea vegetable like seaweed. If you start eating meals that contain all of that, most of us will find you don't even need dessert, because it's touched on all the flavors of the palate. You feel very satisfied. That's how they eat with Eastern medicine, like Ayurvedic medicine. And a lot of yoga practitioners eat that way. So try that out too, Lorraine. Like, maybe find a salad that's got sort of, those Thai salads with the little slivers of mandarin orange and the animal protein. And so that might even make you feel so good you don't need to add on like bread or anything like that. But I'm interested, so keep us posted.
I was missing, I did a lot of apple cider vinegar while on HCG in my salads. And now, after a couple of weeks of maintenance, eating my regular olive oil and salad and like red wine vinegar, I actually, yesterday, made a salad with the apple cider vinegar. I missed it. And I have to, those are things you have to keep eating. They're so good for you. I mean, I felt better after I ate that.
It is. It's so good for your body chemistry and for your stomach acid.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know, I find like we learn so many little tips and tricks while we're on protocol that we can carry with us to everyday life. And sometimes I forget them. So I've actually started, now that I'm low carbing it, where did I put my thing? I got this little notebook from Whole Foods, and I started writing down my discoveries each day of like what I want to keep in my day-to-day lifestyle. So different kinds of low carb options and 0 calorie options. Like yesterday I did the baked apple with hazelnut stevia, which is a really healthy dessert that I could see myself eating at anyone's house at any event. And it's totally decadent, but see, I forget about stuff like that. So I'm starting to write it down. So that might be a cool thing for you guys to do too, is write down what really works so you can keep it in your day-to-day life to keep your weight at that sweet spot. Cool. Awesome shares. I want to see if anybody else is new to the call. I think we welcomed you, Lorraine and Lisa. Excellent. Well, who else wants to share with us what they're going through or what stage they're at? We got some cool stuff. Like, it sounds like people are a little bit staggered. So Shannon's on protocol. Patty, I know, is like coming off of maintenance, or no, she's back on protocol. And then we've got Lorraine, you're almost done maintenance, and Sandra is stepping into maintenance. So we're all sort of at, and then Lisa is on protocol too. So we're kind of staggered right now, which is cool. You can kind of see what other people are going through. So who haven't we heard from that would, and Cheryl too, you're on protocol as well. Who haven't we heard from that would like to kind of share with us what's new in your world, or what's working or not working, or what discoveries you're making?
Hi, Cheryl.
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
Did we catch you on your lunch break?
Yeah, well, I had a lunch meeting, and then now this meeting, and it was now lunchtime for me, so it's awesome.
Perfect. It worked so perfectly.
Yeah, everything's going really well. I'm down 15.8 pounds, so it's coming off a little more slowly than it did the last few weeks, but I guess that's to be expected, but that's all cool. Like Sandra was saying earlier, I have a pair of slacks on and a blouse today that I probably haven't worn in a year, and they're fitting very nice and comfortably, so that's awesome. Really excited about that. Yeah, and I'm on day 19, and I think I'm doing really well. I'm really pleased. I'm very excited. It's going really well.
That's fantastic. Oh, so clothes are fitting better, and you're getting to put stuff on you haven't worn in years.
Yeah, it's awesome.
When can you pinpoint how many years ago that was that you last wore that outfit?
Oh, it's at least a year, maybe even more. So yeah, it's pretty great.
So we just undid 1 year in 19 days. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. It is awesome.
I like that. I feel like we go in a little bit of a time machine here.
Mm-hmm.
That's excellent. And are you noticing any other stuff change too? Like any changes in mood or energy or anything else?
Yeah, definitely. I'm feeling much, I think my mood is much improved. Definitely. I see a big difference there. And certainly energy, I'm feeling, yesterday I had kind of a sleepy day, but I think generally speaking, my energy level is much better. I go home at the end of the day and I still have gas in the tank basically to continue on and do some stuff during the evening. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, so excellent. So you're not just like living to work. You actually have a bit of a life after work now.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty exciting. Yeah.
I speak to so many people who are like, I just go home and go to bed. Like I eat dinner and go to bed. And I'm like, I remember being there. And I'm like, oh, so many of us lose like precious hours of our life. And we're just in this routine of like, wake up, go to work, come home, sleep. Wake up, go to work, come home, sleep. So I'm glad that you've broken that, Cheryl.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I'm really excited.
That's awesome. Okay, and so I think the last time we spoke was Thursday, so you've lost about a pound and a bit since then, you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's about 1.6, I think, since then.
Okay, so Friday.
I actually went up one day, which I almost freaked about, but I didn't quite. So I thought, we'll see. Let's just see what happens. But yeah, and then it's just been coming off just a little more slowly, but it's still coming off. So I guess that's good. Okay,
good. So if you're finding it stalls again or comes up, just let us know and we'll kind of tweak it to fit you.
Okay.
I think like 1.6 over 5 days is not bad. It's normal to sometimes go up depending on what our body's doing with water weight, right? Like if the fat cells are releasing the triglycerides to be burned for fuel, what takes their place is water, which weighs more than fat, right? That's why fat floats on water. So you might gain weight temporarily, but then you should flush it the next day. Like have a lot of really good teas, and then your weight should come down next 1 to 2 days. So we'll keep our eye on that. But if you're getting into any territory where it's like an ongoing stagnation, just let us know. We can either tweak things if you're having any kind of constipation, or sometimes do a steak day, which can just bump things along. So keep us posted if that happens again. But I think overall you're trending pretty well. The first 10 days of the very low cal diet has the fastest loss, and then you'll see your pattern develop after that, which tends to be the same for the next 30, not even 30 days. So let's watch out for that. Most women have like a lose gain pattern. Not everyone does though. So we'll just keep our eyes on that, and you'll probably start to see your pattern emerge at this time. Like I said, just reach out to us if anything is like really stagnating. But otherwise, I think you're doing really well.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. That's awesome. Because I know we spoke with you Thursday, and can't believe it. You're doing so good. Some great shares, you guys. Who have we not heard from? Anybody else would like to share with us? Patty or Lisa? Anyone want to share what's going on in your world?
Hi, it's Patty.
Hello.
I'm still coughing, but I feel way better, so that's good. I'm on day 5 or 6 of my second round. I think it's day 6, and I feel great. Not hungry. It's all good. I'm replanting some seeds that didn't move. So I've been doing that all morning, and I'm heading over to Shannon's for a sauna and get in the tanning bed and maybe knock this thing out of me once and for all.
So you have a cold too, Patty?
Well, it's not in my lungs, which is a really good thing, but it started with one of my husband's coworkers came to work sick, and I get it because they don't get paid for sick days and he needs the money. I get it, but anyway, then Terry came home with a sore throat, and then 2 days later I'm feeling it, and because of my lack of immune system I get hit pretty hard with it. So last week was pretty wicked awful, but I've and then it's like one day I feel like, oh, I feel really, really good. And then the next day it's as though I'm right back to where I was. And then it's kind of like that, but I'm on the mend. So that's a good thing. But yesterday my hearing was gone. I was so stuffed up that I couldn't hear anything. It was awful. Anyway, that seems to be better today, but I'm not hungry. I really like being on the protocol because I don't have to think about food.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that an interesting thing. And something Shannon said earlier this afternoon about kind of watching everybody else have a life. I could relate to that. Years ago, I felt like I was on the sidelines all the time watching. And I remember, because my ex-husband's kind of nasty, negative comments that I think after so many years, you just kind of start to believe, you know what I mean? So I remember going to this swimming pool, and friends were having a work party, and everybody's in there in all sizes, but I pretty much got the word that I wasn't to be in a bathing suit because I would be an embarrassment. And he's in the pool, and all these heavy people are in the pool having fun. And I just sat there, and I remember thinking, wow, everyone else is having fun, and I'm sitting here, and I wish I could have just been strong enough to say, you know what, where's the change room? Because I'm coming in. But I was so shamed, I had been so shamed for so long. And I haven't thought about that kind of stuff in years and years, because I do live my life today. But when Shannon said that, it just reminded me of those awful times where I just sat on the sidelines and watched, just watched. But now I'm living, and my husband says how he loves me from the inside out. And even when I was really, really heavy, nothing changed, whereas I wouldn't have heard the end of it with my ex-husband. So anyway, that's all good. And yes, I can be on protocol. Like I said, I don't have to think about anything food-wise. I just do my thing. And I really wish there was some way I could kind of incorporate that at the end, because I'm not sure who mentioned that they were a little bit nervous about, introducing carbs. I am too. I still am. And when I don't have them, and I'm happy. So I've got to cross that bridge somehow.
And did you mostly avoid them during your 6 weeks off of HCG?
Yeah, I didn't, I'm not a real sweet tooth. I think if anything would have been a downfall would be bread, but I've been, I haven't been making any, and I was pretty good. I stayed, other than my one knee, I was up and down probably about between 5 and 7 pounds up and down through that time, but it's still fear-based. There's still fear there, and it's, and I remember being on keto and really being happy, but I was on keto way too long, and it does really affect your thyroid activity and stuff like that. So I learned that the hard way, but I like the idea of doing some keto and then doing, I don't know what you called it, but just introducing a few carbs during the week. So that's something I'll think about. What was it?
Yeah, the carb refeed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so maybe I'll
refeeding the carbs.
Yeah, because I don't think my body likes that stuff.
Sorry, you don't think what?
You don't think my body likes stuff?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you and me both. I mean, there's a lot of similarities between Aboriginal genetics and Mediterranean genetics, and neither of us really do well with carbs. Our body's just not primed. I think if we lived like the lifestyle our body's intended, which is, tons of walking, I think the average hunter-gatherer walks 5 to 7 miles a day. I think if we did that and we lived in the sunlight and with nature and we ate what was available to us, we would be the perfect weight. But you put us in a world with access to, these carbs and stuff, our insulin just gets out of control. So I totally feel you on that piece about the carbs. Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be an interesting experiment, is if you could go mostly keto 5 days a week and then have 2 days a week where you have more carbs, and don't have them back to back. You want to space them out. But really focusing on those root veggies, maybe some whole grains if your body's okay with that, fruits, a lot more fruits, that type of thing. That might be something to try on for size once you're back into maintenance.
Yeah, well, I'll see. I'll think about all those options and try and pick one. Just pick one, Patty. I just feel like there's just so many options out there, so many protocols, it's just overwhelming at times. So again, being on protocol, I don't have to think about it, and it's really peaceful.
It is. It's meditative almost. You know what you're gonna eat every day and every meal, and it's very structured. Well, like I was saying to Lorraine, you can always use that as your safe haven. So week 2 and 3 of maintenance, those guidelines, that's your safe space to always return to if you need that. So that would be, having any type of animal protein, even the ones with more fat in them, having good fats, having vegetables, maybe some fruit. You can always retreat to that if things are getting kind of hectic in the real world and you're having too many choices again and you're overwhelmed. Just retreat to that and go back to that space for a couple of weeks to kind of level yourself out. And that is a little bit more of a keto approach. But you can also start adding on a couple of root veggies and that sort of thing. But we'll get you there. And I think when you get to that point, Patty, just touch base with us and we'll look at, what should you try first and foremost as an approach. But I think overall a sort of a grain-free, mostly dairy-free, kind of paleo, if you will, approach with some root veggies, 80% of the time would probably work well for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Good plan.
maybe, yeah. But you're in a good space now. I'm excited to see what this round brings for you. And you're right into the swing of it now.
Yep.
That's great. Do you have, so you said to manage your cold, you're going to be going to do the sauna and do some tanning too, right?
I am. I have about another half hour or so of reseeding because a lot of my stuff, I just started in the house. A lot of it came up, but a lot didn't. So I'm reseeding some of the ones that didn't, and then I'm going to head over to Shan's and, just, sit in the sauna, and I'm looking forward to that. But
Nice.
we've had sun here. My power's way up, so that's good. But it's starting to cloud over. So done with this weather, I'll tell you.
I know. Shan and I are both done with it. We were talking about that the other day.
But the upside is everything's beautifully green, and my vista is breathtaking.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is. Just beautiful.
We are lucky. It's really luscious right now.
So I think that's the thing, instead of me whining about the miserable weather, I'll just look at all the good that's out there.
When I was in Florida last week, it was so dry. They had fire warnings everywhere. And in fact, 4 houses burnt down in our town when I was there because everything's so dry. The grass just catches fire. And the trees, like there's no rain. And Florida's usually like at the Amazon. So I think, yeah, when I came back to Ontario, I saw how lush and green it was. Pretty lucky for the water. But I get you. I'm done with this weather too. Do you feel like your cold is being managed? Do you need any more suggestions around that, or do you have some stuff in place like oregano and stuff like that?
Got the oil of oregano, which gags me. I hate it, but I do it. And when I first got sick, Shannon had me doing the activated charcoal and the oil of oregano and all that. But I think because I don't have a really strong immune system, it hits me hard when any cooties come my way. And it just knocks me down. And plus, I'm asthmatic on top of it. So my lungs are already, a little threatened. I grew into that at the age of 35, lucky me. And but I'm in fairly good control with that. But my lungs are a little bit sensitive, so anything like that. So, but the hearing thing yesterday, I could empathize with Shannon yesterday. I was saying, pardon, and friends dropped in last night to show us their new car and this really funky little sports car Mustang. It was ever pretty. But anyway, I could hardly hear the conversation. I was really deaf. So
probably some fluid in there.
Oh yeah, I can feel it when you blow my nose. I can feel it popping around in there. So and my nose is raw from, But it's just a cold, right?
One thing you could try is N-acetylcysteine, NAC, which is actually a mucolytic, and it turns into glutathione, which is the antioxidant that protects the lining of your lungs. So it's good for asthmatics, even if you don't have a cold, but it's really, really powerful too. What's that?
What was the name of it?
It's called NAC, or N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine, yeah. So it's really powerful for the lungs.
Yeah, Romy has some here, so I can show it to you this afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, give her if you take about 1,500 milligrams of that per day, Patty, it's gonna break down the gunk in your ears and in your whole upper respiratory tract, and it's gonna protect your lower respiratory tract. Stuff always starts at the top and then it migrates to the lungs if you don't catch it in time, like what happened with me. So if you take the NAC, it's gonna help with that process. It doesn't go deeper seated. So that might be good for you, even just for asthma in general. It's so protective of the lungs.
So is that something you got from Matt, Shannon, or is that something you got from the Woo Woo?
From Matt.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. That, and then if you're ever looking for like a good lung tincture, St. Francis makes one called Respira Effect that I've been on for the past 2 weeks for my bronchitis. It's for upper and lower respiratory tract. So it's good for the nasal, the sinuses. It kills both bacteria and viruses. So whether you have one or the other, it doesn't matter. Inside the upper and lower respiratory. That's a nice one too. St. Francis Respira Effect.
Because I'm going to ask a favor, Erica. Could you kind of write those both down and flip them to me or Shannon? Because I'm not hearing very well. So
yeah, for sure. I was going to ask, does it work better if I write it? It's probably better.
Yeah, that'd be great for both those products. That'd really be appreciated.
Absolutely. I have you, Patty.
Okay, cool. Anyway, that's me. It's all good.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to email that to Shannon.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Thanks for the share, Patty, and a really deep, awesome share about how you're back on the court of life now. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah. Like it's, I don't think about that stuff until Shannon, made that comment, and it was like, oh my God, that was my life years ago. Watching, I felt like I was standing beside a conveyor belt, but I wasn't on the belt. That was the imagery that was in my head with it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be on the belt, but I haven't been off the belt in years, so that's good.
Wow. No, that's awesome. So good. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for your authenticity and for your honesty in that share, and thank you for your shares overall.
Okay.
So we're with you and sending healing powers your way to kick this bug in the butt, and I'm sure the sauna is going to help.
Thanks so much.
Cool. So it's 1:04, and I want to hear from Lisa before we end our call today. So Lisa, are you able to unmute yourself? Looks like it. Does that work? I see you talking, and you're unmuted too, but we don't hear you. Is your microphone not working, maybe?
You know what I'm thinking? When you first come into Zoom and that window pops up and it says to join audio, you have to click that green button.
Oh, I wonder how she can do it now. What about, it might be that. What if you log out and log back in? Does that work, Lisa? Do you want to try that? I'm just gonna run. I saw that balloon when I came on, but I don't see it now. Yeah, I don't know how to get that back. Well, we can do two things. Either you can log out, log back in, and click on the green balloon, or you can type too, if that works better for you. If you want to tell us what you're up to and what's going on via typing, whatever works better for you. Which one do you want to do?
I have to go, folks. I'll see you on Thursday.
Awesome. Have a great day at work, Cheryl.
Thanks.
Yeah, Lisa, thanks for sharing. I know to answer your question, yes, people do SIBO testing. Lisa and I were talking about like constipation and how SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, can cause that. Sometimes it could be other things, it could be food sensitivities as well. There are naturopaths that do test for it. I'm going, I hope this Thursday, if not next week, to an ND that does digestive testing. If you're in the West End, I'm pretty sure Dr. Tanya Lee in Bloor West Village tests for SIBO. It's like, I want to say $200 to breath test, and they look at the gases that you're breathing out, see if you're fermenting foods due to the bacteria in your gut. So that's something that I'm going to check in with Tanya and see if she does that, and I'll let you know her link if she does. I'm going to a gal in Burlington to do the test for it, and then go from there. So I'm really excited to see how that goes, because I find I have no like natural capacity to go to the washroom. My colon is totally paralyzed. So, and I know you were saying being on low fat can cause that for you. I totally agree. Having not enough fats will do that. And yes, it's true. When you add the fats back in, you can go to the bathroom like really crazy fast. Do people usually have to take something on this protocol to have bowel movements? Yes. Yeah, they do. Some people will just go like a week or 4 days without having a BM, and then they'll have one like every 4 to 7 days. But I find that's like kind of long to go without it. So I prefer to tell people to take Natural Calm magnesium citrate. Usually 2 teaspoons a day works well. 3 and 4 is kind of excessive and pushing it, but I'll tell you, I once had to take 6. That's not on protocol, that's with normal foods. I have to take about half of that when I'm on protocol. The problem with too much magnesium, it's an electrolyte that impacts your heart's electrical balance. So you don't want to take too much because it can throw off your heart rhythm. But, I think around 2, 3, 4 teaspoons max, you've really got to flush out. But you need to have lots of water, which I know you do. But anybody else listening, lots of water in your system to help flush stuff out using magnesium. If that doesn't work, it's probably SIBO, which is what I have. I had to do Senna tea, and it was just brutal. And just so you guys know, I mentioned that, I think it's in module 1. You can get this, it's pure Senna tea. I think it's called like extra slimming tea from Chinatown of all places. It's marketed as a weight loss tea, but it really just makes you poo. And the only ingredient in it is Senna, and it comes in this green package. You can get it from any Chinese grocery store or on Amazon, and a lot of grocery stores carry it, or just go to like a herbalist or a health food store and just get plain Senna tea. The longer you steep it, the more of a laxative effect it has. The first time you take it is kind of painful. It contracts your intestines, and you don't want to take it for more than 10 days in a row because it could cause habit forming, whereas magnesium doesn't do that. It says, I have a feeling that when I'm on maintenance or whenever I start eating some fat again, it will definitely help. Yeah, it probably will. Like I know in private practice when I'm working with people with constipation, sometimes just adding fish oil is all it takes for them to poo again. So it's just they need that lubrication on the intestines, like you were saying. So I have a feeling you'll be back to normal as well. But doing stuff like Senna every now and again is fine. Doing magnesium daily is great. Doing colonics, if you have access to that, is a really good health practice in general, just to clean out any gunk in the system. So yeah, I think you're on the right track. Yeah, you were saying you did the colonic, eh, Lisa? I've never done one. I've only done enemas. And I really want to try it. I've had so many patients that swear by it. They're like, I don't feel as good unless I do a colonic once a month just to clean out house. People with like IBS, they get a lot of benefit from it. Do you have anybody you recommend in the city, in Toronto? I'm guessing the person that you see, right? So I'd love to get a good contact. Oh, nice. Yeah, maybe I'll get that contact from you, especially when I move, because I'll be sort of in the west side like you are. That would be great. Very cool. Okay. Anything else to answer to your question, Lisa, or anything else you wanted to share with us? And next time we'll hopefully get you on with some audio. Good question. Does it matter how late I eat? Like I eat now at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. I don't think so. Like generally what I was advised to do when I became a nutritionist was to eat 3 hours before going to sleep, because it takes up to 3 hours to digest. And if you sleep with a full stomach, you don't get to detoxify as much while you're in bed. So a lot of people will, eat, go to bed, and wake up and they look kind of toxic, like purple circles under the eyes, that sort of thing. But in your case, if you're eating at 8 and you're staying up until midnight, that's giving you enough time there. I don't think that should cause any problem. A lot of people on protocol typically eat right up until 9. Like they'll even have a snack like you did. You were saying have a fruit snack at 9, and they all have no problem with that. Like they lose weight just fine. So I think that's totally fine. The serving sizes are so small, and they'd have like no anti-nutrients in them either. So your digestion is going to be really effective with that serving size. So you probably even eat like 2 hours before bed while on protocol. So I think you're totally in the clear. And that seems to be working for you, like the way that your food is scheduled seems to be fulfilling at this time? Okay, good. Awesome. Excellent. Well, it's 1:12, so I am good to complete the call. Does anyone have any last minute questions that they want answered? Everyone's good. Give me a thumbs up. Cool. Awesome. Okay, great. Well, it's such a great call, you guys. As per usual, if you have any questions in the meantime, please do post them to Facebook. And otherwise, we will see you on Thursday night in the evening call. Have an amazing rest of your Tuesday, everybody. If you're having some sun, get out and enjoy it. I know it's gorgeous here. And we will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.